I think most of us have never looked at the movement of thought, right? Most of us never asked, what is thinking? Why has man given such extraordinary importance to thinking? And the very process of thinking, born of experience, knowledge and memory stored in the brain, that process of thinking is always limited, right? Is that clear? Thought is limited. Thought is fragmentary. Fragment, I mean, something broken. Like a vase, when you break it, there are pieces in it. So thought is broken, limited, right? Because it's born out of knowledge. And knowledge is the past. Knowledge is not the whole, right? Or see it? It can never be the whole. So thought, whatever it does, must be limited. And any action born out of that limitation must have regret, confusion, feeling of guilt, anxiety, and a never-ending conflict. Because thought in its action is limited. Right? Is this clear? Clear, not verbally. And then from inside you know it. As you know your language, as you know your eyes, your face, you know it. So thought can never lead to the immeasurable. That which is not measurable. Thought is measurable, right? And therefore that which is measurable is limited. Though you can measure it 100 yards, it is still limited, right? So when thought seeks illumination, tries to meditate, that meditation, that struggle, that all that we go through is always limited and therefore broken up, fragmentary. Right, sir? Now we are saying there is an action that is not born of thought. Are you interested? Now will you pay attention? That means you have no center from which you are listening. If you are listening from a center, you have already brought in a sense of distraction. You understand this? So can you attain? We are saying there is an action that is not of time. Again, I mustn't introduce time for the moment because that leads to something else. We'll talk about it. There is an action which is not the outcome of memory. I'm pointing out to something else, I'll come back to it. In your relationship with another, however intimate or not intimate, when memory operates in our relationship, what takes place? there is inevitably division. Right? Haven't you noticed it? You are related to your husband, wife, or girl, or whatever it is. And in that relationship, there is the whole movement of thought, which has built out of constant contact with each other, a sense of pictures, images, which are memories, right? And those memories, those pictures, those images divide you and your husband, girl, or boy. So there is always a division, right? So we are asking from that, we won't go more deeply than that into it. We are asking from that, is love a remembrance? Right? When one says to one's wife or husband or girl, whatever it is, I love you, is that a remembrance? Or when you say, I love your God, your image, tremendous emotional devotion, is that love? We'll go into this question much more deeply another time. What we are pointing out is that where there is the activity of thought, thought itself being limited must bring about division. National, political, religious, the whole structure of man's activity, which is destroying the world. You go up to the moon and plant a flag up there. There is a limited action. When you worship your petty little God around the corner, which has been put together by thought, that's a limited action. So when you have an insight into that, insight being the mind comprehends the whole picture, whole structure, nature of thought, then thought comes to its own limited place. I've got it? Have you understood some of this? Come on, sirs. So, when you have understood that, when thought has understood its own limited place, then action is not the outcome of thought. Then action is the outcome of that total insight of the nature of thought. Have you understood all this? Probably I should read to you the Gita and then you'll all be happy. Or read some commentaries and commentaries and commentaries. But this needs your active cooperation to find this out. You have to think, you have to work. Which is to work to find out how you think, how your whole life is based on thinking. You have to catch a bus, but catching the bus has its right thought, right place. But when thought involves into the whole psychological structure of man, then thought has limited the psyche of man. You understand this? So, sirs and ladies, another 5 minutes more. I do not know how much you are learning. Learning, not accumulating knowledge and memory. Learning to find out this quality of insight from which action takes place. See, what we are really saying is that man has extraordinary capacities. Man, woman too, please. We are not women's lib. Man has extraordinary capacities. And those capacities are limited by thought. And for thought to give its right place releases a tremendous energy. Not to do more mischief, but to live a life in which there is no shadow of conflict. A life that is supremely excellent. A life that has this extraordinary quality of compassion, love. That's why one has to understand the nature of thought. Thought is not love. And when one worships the intellect, as you all do, because it is when you are studying or reading or being lectured to about the Gita, the Upanishads, the various commentaries, you are encouraging the intellectual capacity and therefore denying love.